Hello, storyteller. Storytelling Ron. This is about being a creation tour guide and my thoughts after just doing it yesterday, and it was a wonderful experience. Um, not, I thought it would be exhausting, but it was more exhilarating. I did 3 groups, about 15 kids each, with parents. An hour each. It went really fast. I had to rush back to the next group and start with them. And I have a nice little thing I do, and I'm and I have like a creation network, and a guy came through, and I did the tour with him, and he really complimented me because I taught him things he never thought of, and never knew about, and he said I say it in such an easy way to digest, and the other thing he said is I use the most Bible connections to the things that I was showing, so that was neat. Anyway, so I did that, and I want to say this is a like a disclaimer or something we all should know and understand. I'm an American citizen, right? This is a public museum, partially tax funded, meant for the public. So I have the right, constitutionally, which means legally, to freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and to go in and teach my students who pay me specifically for my knowledge about these what they have here in this museum. And specifically to counter the information in the museum, because sadly the information in the museum is very one-sided. America is split about half and half between creation science and evolution. So, and the creation science is young. It's when I was a kid there was no creation science. Creation science is in response to the 200 years of evolution theory that is not working, is not turning out to be true. Even evolution theory, even evolutionists don't agree on theirs, and it keeps evolving. The only thing factual about the evolution theory is that it keeps evolving. Creation science is young; it's exploding. Many scientists, geneticists, cellular biology, everything is the facts, the evidence is there. Okay. So let me go to the museum and just show you kind of like what my thoughts on this are. It's sad though, because I see that, and I went on homeschool day, and so obviously that's a very specific theme, and I could see that they had a lot of stuff up to show to push evolution, to homeschoolers, and they know who homeschoolers are, Christians. They even, which they don't have normally, they had a display of ape to man monkey skulls, which I saw it, but I didn't go to it because it was kind of out in the mammal section, and I just do the dinosaur section. But I did warn them about it, our homeschoolers. Because we did not come from monkeys. Okay. All right, so let me go to here. So I just want to go through the exhibits. So this is one exhibit. This is a cool one where you got these 3. Actually, it's this one here, this one, and this one. That one's on the other place over there. But anyway, these 3, like a family of T-Rexes there. And when we come in through this door right here, I have them stand here, and I do a little fun. And this is sort of the finale actually of the tour, but I'll just go through it. Right? I have them split up into groups of kids, and then I tell them, you all have bows and arrows and spears, and you're coming into this valley, and this family of T-Rexes right behind me is living there, and they cannot go into the cold mountains, and they cannot go into the ocean. They're going to stay where they're in the valley, but you guys want this valley. How do you get rid of them? So I break them up into groups, and the moms are there and the dads, and then I always notice like some of the moms try to tell them things, and I'm like, no, just the kids. So they. But actually, yesterday, all 3 groups, the kids had some really good ideas. I was kind of, I'm trying to entrap them with, bows and arrows and spears, and we fight them and we scare them off. I'm like, no, you're dead, because like they're really thick. But a lot of them came up with good ideas about fire, cold, and traps. And I sort of combined them and told them, look, the legend of in Australia is that they use fire in 5 a.m. 5 a.m. when it's the coldest. That's when they're the slowest. Then you can kill them. Another one is pigs and dogs will go around and eat up their eggs. And so they would, easily be defeated. So my whole thing about going through the museum is telling them how it's very easy to hunt out these big dinosaurs. They didn't flourish once humans got into the area. Once mammals and humans got to these areas after the flood, the dinosaurs just couldn't flourish. So yes, I believe these T-Rexes did come off the ark, but I bet they just couldn't recover, from human interaction. I think that once they spread out amongst, I think they spread out just as quickly as all the other animals did across, the world, and flourished for a while, and maybe not. And the bigger ones probably had a harder time getting anywhere beyond specific areas because of the summer and winter now. So they probably were sort of stuck in their certain areas, whereas other ones probably flourished, And I think in South America, there's a lot of like sort of velociraptor type dinosaurs, which I will definitely have in my role-playing game when I do the conquistadors versus the Aztecs. So the dinosaur hall is the area I do the main tour. I actually want to show this video. I can't really see it here. There's a whole exhibit here on becoming Los Angeles, which I do take them to it. There's one front area here. It doesn't really show where exactly that spot, but it's actually right around the corner here, and it has it basically does, and it kind of, I think throughout the whole thing, it just talks about the Spanish colonies coerced and forced an indigenous natives to farm, like, so forced, enslaved them basically. And I say to the kids, never be ashamed of your Christianity or of the church history. And this is because of my game as well. Never be ashamed of it. Don't let them shame you with this kind of stuff, that forced or coerced or whatever, coerced or forced. Because the pagans, the indigenous people, the pagans, they were brutal to each other. They were way worse. If there were good ones, they were just taken over and enslaved by the bad ones. So don't ever be ashamed. Don't let a museum or university or professors professing to be wise shame our faith, our missionary work, planting churches, civilizing the world. And then when I come back through here, I kind of I snark that this is all made by Christians, because they show all these sort of cool buildings and stuff, back when Los Angeles was being built. It was all made by Christians. Christians were here building this stuff. Christians built Europe. The reason celebrities want to go to Europe is because they want to go see the cathedrals and the culture, and that's where they go. Okay, they don't go to South America or Africa. They don't go there because there's just not enough Christianity, not enough history of Christian churches there for them to go see cool stuff. Okay, it's only in Europe is where Christianity, has the most lasting effect, and still today. Although paganism certainly taken over. Don't get me wrong there, but they don't want to go to places like that. Okay, what else? So it's a good experience for me to do this. It's sad again. I'm trying to find the dinosaur thing, the dueling dinosaurs. I don't really say much about this. I'll let them just kind of check that out. There's a coelacanth right around the corner in the hallway here, and I talk about the coelacanth and how that they have a lot, or not a live one, but one that was caught, and it's in the frozen or whatever, it's in the water there, in a little, or in a large container there. And I tell them about that, how that was used to age other animals during the fossil records, and then now where they found a live ones, but they're still using the aging of 65 million years for all these different fossils. So they won't give up the even though many things were found to be fraudulent or wrong, they won't give up the system of aging that they use for all these different things. I'm trying to get back to, I think I'm kind of done actually. I just wanted to go through that with you guys and just say how sad it is. Everything has got millions of years. Everything's got randomness or whatever. There's some displays here. I'm trying to think of anything. What I do, this is the family of T-Rexes. What I do when I go is I pick out particular spots and talk about those things. I don't go through everything that's on there, and I rush through because it literally takes, the hour goes really fast, and believe it or not. Another thing I do show, and it doesn't show them in here, but there is, they don't even show the room. There's a second room before this, but there's a big sauropod, we used to call them brontosaurs. But that name is wrong because they use different, they found different fossils that had those bones that were not a brontosaur. Brontosaur was made up based on two different other sauropods. Anyway, I really emphasize how the environment before the flood must have been more oxygen, more atmosphere because of the things that we find there. And actually, I'm done here. I'll just go back to my face, my beautiful, gorgeous face. The there's a big sauropod, with the long neck above us, and I tell him, when you're running, what happens? You guys, eventually we get tired, we need air, right? So I'm breathing hard and I'm going, here's my air from here to my lungs, right? Breathing. And I said, now imagine this thing running. How does it get its air? So they look at it and they got to follow all the way to the head where I'm like, so in creation science, we're theorizing that the atmosphere before the flood was much more oxygen, much more dense, like a barometric chamber. I even have that in my little illustration. So things could grow bigger, dinosaurs. We see insect fossils that are bigger. We see mammals that are bigger. Maybe we age long. We live longer, 900 years, like it says in the Bible. I'm sure God had to do with that, but I'm just saying the environment may have been conducive to that as well, because we see that in the fossil record. Things before the flood. So after the flood, the dinosaurs came off the ark. They're all young. That's something they don't know too. Even moms have asked that. How did T-Rex fit on the ark? So big. Like, they use the young. The little ones, that's part of creation science. All the young would be on the ark, not the big ones. And then and when they got off the ark, again, the bigger bipedal type reptiles are not going to flourish as much, because think about reptiles today. Reptiles today are very defensive against mammals. Mammals are dangerous to reptiles. Bigger mammals, because reptiles. They have to hide, and especially in places, and they have to hibernate in colder regions, right? So in the warmer regions, there's so much competition, and bipedal reptiles to grow, it takes so long to get that size to even be dangerous. So they can't even get that size, if it's too crowded, and they'll just get eaten up by mammals. Mammals need to eat 17 meals a day. That's my joke with the kids. We all need 17 meals a day, right? But reptiles are not that hungry, so they're not as aggressive as we are, and we will eat them up, So stuff like that, and it's really a good experience. I make sure they know about not being ashamed of creation science, and creation science is exploding. Evolution is a joke. Oh, I even go through Romans 1:20 through 23. How if there's not a plaque on the wall that says we honor God, we give thanks to God, if you don't see that somewhere, the building you go into, the men in there are going to lie to you, or the adults are going to lie to you. And I tell them that in front of their parents. I make sure they know that adults can lie to you children. We will lie to you. Please be aware of that. Don't just go in somewhere and assume the truth, especially if they're not honoring God. And I read out Romans 20:21. God says they're going to be futile. They're going to worship the creatures. They're going to worship the bird. They're going to worship corruptible man. And I mentioned, I think that's like a gorilla. And they're going to use that. They're going to use dinosaurs to get you away from God. They got to use these dinosaurs to lure you away from God. That's how they started off, because you get brainwashed with millions and millions and millions of years ago, the dinosaurs roamed the earth. That's how they get you. That's how they got me. But here's the thing about Satan and the children of Satan. They think they are deconverting or luring you away from God. They will never take away the children of God from God, right? Never. You may have a terrible or torturous life for a while, but God will get you in the end if he wants you. And that's the silly, funny part about this. So you can put up as much of a temple to evolution as you want. You're never going to take away the children of God from God. But you will. You might, for a temporary moment, make their sanctity, their sanctification, not as quality driven or whatever. But then again, it's kind of wonderful to come from such depths of sin to grace. So the story is actually even more wonderful in a sense. I mean, not more wonderful, but interesting and wonderful in that sense. So I guess it's okay either way. So yeah, you just a video on that on for your homeschoolers. It's just sad. It's sad that the government, the museums are all in on paganism. I mean, they're in on paganism, and the sadder thing is we Christian men are not rebuking it. We're not exposing, and we're trying, but we need more. And I think we need more in the halls of governance as well. But hopefully you all will do what I'm doing and keep doing it, or what others are doing, but will do better than me. But constantly talk about it, constantly rebuke the sin out there, teach the children, get involved, play a game where you can do fellowship and edification, by the way. And I'm still working on it and getting it done. It's available. The first edition's available on my website, but I'm cleaning it up for the second edition because of the players I have now are going so advanced. They get so many different skills and stuff that I'm trying to work out the upper level stuff right now, and it's done. I just need to clean it up, but I'm there. All right, the game of life. Roll holy dice.